The film opens in the 1980s, where a spoiled brat joins her boyfriend to rob a store. The shopkeeper talks back to her, and as a result, she shoots him. The scenes abruptly shift to another woman named Samantha, who is lost in the woods. Perplexed and hungry, she infiltrates a cabin and steals some snacks. As she's munching on them, she hears footsteps approaching the cabin. Hence, she quickly hides under the bed and becomes scared to see a man enter the cabin with an axe. She waits for the man to leave, and when he does, she runs out of the cabin. The man catches her running, so she falls on the ground and injures her knee. The man takes her back to the cabin to bandage her wound. He asks her how she ended up in these woods. Samantha reveals that her car ran out of gas near the woods last night, so her husband left her to find a gas station but never returned. She asks Tom if she can use his phone to call her husband, but Tom brings her an old and busted radio, which is the only means of communication here. Samantha asks him how he ended up here, so he reveals that his car broke down 3 days ago and he's been stuck here ever since. Since her car is nearby, she takes Tom to her car, hoping he can somehow restart it. Tom tries to start the car, but it doesn't work since it needs gas. He asks Samantha to return to the cabin with him, but she decides to wait in the car and wait for her husband. Tom also stays in the car to accompany her, but in the evening, the two head back to the cabin due to the unbearable cold weather. In the cabin, Tom curiously asks her why she didn't go with her husband to fetch gas with him. She lets him know that she's pregnant, due to which she can't walk. Tom diverts her mind and promises to extract gas from his car tomorrow so he can start her car. The following night, Samantha becomes disoriented and sees disturbing flashes of her crying relentlessly. She suddenly wakes up and finds herself alone in the cabin. She looks out to see Tom, who is on his way to locate his broken-down vehicle. Instead of Tom, Samantha finds an unconscious girl outside the cabin. When she pulls her inside, she wakes up and reveals herself as Jodie. Jodie doesn't remember how she got here, so she threatens to hit Samantha. However, she drops the stick and runs away from the cabin. Simultaneously, we see Tom returning to the cabin with the extracted fuel from his vehicle. Suddenly, he and Jodie hear a loud gunshot. Tom drops to the ground and spills all the fuel. Jodie also goes back inside the cabin. When Tom arrives in the cabin shortly after, he introduces himself to Jodie and explains his and Samantha's situation. They instantly get on the wrong foot and argue with one another, leading Jodie to cry. Realizing they don't have enough food or water for survival, they decide to head in different directions to look for help, though Samantha stays back since she can't walk during her pregnancy. Jodie and Tom go their separate ways to find a way out of here. On Tom's path, he finds some bullet shells, which he collects for some reason. On the other hand, Jodie sits down on a hollow tree trunk to catch her breath. There, she has disturbing flashes of her suffering, so she returns to the cabin, where Samantha is already waiting for them outside. Samantha senses that Jodie isn't getting along, so she extends the hand of friendship by offering Jodie her blanket. Jodie finally sits down with her and gets to know her properly. Samantha confides in Jodie and tells her that her husband was driving her from Virginia to Hampshire, but her car broke down and she ended up here. Jodie becomes shocked and asks her how she ended up in Wisconsin if she was headed to Hampshire, a completely different state. Samantha doesn't agree with her, so Jodie becomes agitated and starts explaining to her that she was near Wisconsin when she lost her memory and ended up here. When Tom returns, the girls try to settle their debate by asking Tom about the state. Tom disagrees with both of them and informs them that they're in South Dakota because that is where he was headed. They get into yet another argument, which leaves them exhausted because they are all from completely different states, states that are thousands of miles apart. To solve the mystery about the cabin, the trio heads out to explore the woods the next day. This time, they stick together and go opposite the roadside. On their way, they discover a hatchet. The hatchet leads them to a bunker where they find canned food and wine. While Jodie cherishes the wine, Samantha and Tom take a look at maps and some documents, all of which are in German. This factor leads them to believe that they are in Poland or Germany instead of America. Jodie praises Samantha for her vast knowledge, which leads her to overshare the fact that her father died in the war. Samantha also reveals that her father was a German soldier who died in an airstrike before her birth. While they chat, Tom urges them to pack up all the food so they can get out of this place and discover more about their whereabouts. Just when they think they are set on a new course, they find themselves standing in front of the cabin. They become perplexed and return to the cabin. They question the nature of the cabin and get to know one another more personally while drinking the stolen wine and eating the canned food. During their chat, Jodie lets them know that she has stolen a lot of money from a gas station and that she doesn't regret it. When she shows the stash to Samantha, Samantha laughs and tells Jodie that she's been scammed because the money is counterfeit. Jodie becomes agitated again and asks her the reason behind her odd claim. That's when Samantha points out that the year printed on the money is wrong, because that year hasn't arrived yet. Jodie immediately gets shocked and asks Samantha what year it is for her. Samantha nervously tells her that the year is 1962. Jodie becomes petrified and shows her the tag on her jacket, which says that she's from 1984. Tom interrupts them and claims that they're both wrong since it is 2011 now. They all become speechless once again and remain in awe. It turns out that Jodie, Samantha, and Tom are not only from different states, but also from different timelines. Before they can figure this out, they hear gunshots in the woods again. This time, an armed soldier discovers them and takes them hostage. He also tries to fix the radio so he can contact his comrades. When Tom notes that the soldier is well aware of how the radio is fixed, he puts the pieces together to find the answer. Seeing the old radio, a bunker, and a German soldier, Tom realizes that he and the girls have been teleported to the year 1940, amidst the World War II breakout. The German soldier has trouble understanding their language, so he lets it out on Tom by taking him outside and tying him to a tree when he tries to run away. He returns inside the cabin and notes a necklace Jodie is wearing. He angrily questions about the necklace because he also has the same necklace. Scared, Jodie tells him that it was passed on to her by her mother. Samantha shockingly reveals that she has the same necklace. At last, they have one thing in common. When he opens the necklace, it reveals the photo of a woman. Samantha recognizes her as her mother, and Jodie recognizes her as her grandmother. Carrying more ambiguities than they first started exploring, they head out to ask Tom if he has the same necklace, but he laughs at them and thinks they're putting on a charade to mess with him. Tom punches the soldier and knocks him out. After Tom is set loose, everyone returns to the cabin where they check the soldier's ID. The ID leaves Samantha in a state of shock as it reveals the soldier to be her father from the past because he is dead in her timeline. And the necklace proves that Jodie is Samantha's daughter from the future. Jodie gives Samantha a heads up about her death during labor because she knows her mother died that way. Jodie also breaks down that her father died in the Vietnam War, which means Samantha doesn't remember that her husband is already dead. To confuse things further, Tom reveals that he was given the same necklace by her mother, but he never bothered to check the picture inside it because he hated his mother for shooting his father and the shopkeeper, which landed her in prison for life. She gave birth to him in prison, so he was sent to an orphanage where he spent every minute hating her. Jodie finally realizes he's telling her story, revealing her to be his mother from the past. Later, Samantha confides in Jodie that she was constantly abused by her in-laws when her husband was serving in the war. When the trio calms down, they all talk about the flashes they keep having. Samantha keeps seeing herself die. Tom sees himself shooting a priest, and Jodie sees herself getting a life sentence. They figure out that they've been seeing flashes of their future ever since they stepped into the cabin. Samantha grows a soft spot for the soldier since he's her father. Hence, she sets him free. Now they march to the bunker to find answers. They find through the maps that it is 1945. The year when the soldier, who is Samantha's father, Jodie's grandfather, and Tom's great-grandfather died. They go to tell the soldier everything, but he gets in a fight with them, during which Jodie gets shot. Tom further pursues the soldier. Soon, Jodie dies and changes the future. Due to her early death, Tom was never born, so in the present, Tom ceases to exist. Samantha finally helps her father understand everything, during which they meet an airstrike. The soldier saves himself and Samantha by getting into the cabin, which changes the future. The story gets back to Jodie's timeline, in which she turns out to be well-educated with good manners. She visits the same store she robbed. She tells the shopkeeper that she feels like she's been in here before. The shopkeeper smiles and tells her that everyone has the same effect when they enter his store. While Jodie leaves, her boyfriend and his new girlfriend rob the same store and continue the chain. Jodie returns to her luxurious house by the beach, where she lives with her mother, Samantha. Here, the film ends. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more awesome recaps.